we got to talk about our state of California, our great state of California. California becomes the first state to bring in compulsory ethnic studies for high school students. California Governor Gavin Newsom signed into law America's first ethnic studies requirement for high school students after 5 years of debate. So students who begin high school in 2026 must pass one semester of a class outlining the past and current struggles of America's marginalized groups. Opponents claim the teaching requirement is filled with far-left ideology and teaches students that capitalism leads to oppression. Schools must hold public meetings before implementing the new course. The requirement would apply to students who graduate in 2030 and was created and approved by the State Board of Education back in March after Governor Newsom vetoed a similar measure last year until it was inclusive of all communities. So the bill signing this weekend, Newsom said that students must understand our nation's full history if we expect them to one day build a more just society. Ethnic studies courses enable students to learn their own stories and those of their classmates. So the course is going to focus on the past and present struggles of marginalized groups in America, including Black, Asian, Latino, Jewish, Middle Eastern, Native, and Indigenous Americans, women, and other groups who face bigotry. The bill, of course, was authorized by Assemblyman Jose Medina with the help of an advisory committee made up of teachers and educators. The new requirement, Medina said, was long overdue and just one step in the long struggle for equal education for all students. So Cortez, GPS, and I'm going to start with Mr. Cortez because he is our super scholar here in the show. This is long overdue, you would think.
Yeah, it's been overdue. It's just they repackaged it, man, because nobody don't want to fuck with race theory anymore, man. Mm-hmm. When one thing I realized, when people hear the word race theory, man, they get up in arms. And I'm like, race theory is not what you think it is. They think, oh, you're going to sit here and tell us how evil white people are, and it's not about that. It's about educating us so we do not make the same mistakes that we made in the past. Mm-hmm. That's what it boils down to. Right. And you need to have more diversity in your curriculum. Mm-hmm. You need to have more diversity. Let's be real, man. When I was growing up in the mid 70s, early 80s, man, I didn't see a lot of representation on TV about me, man.
No, not at all.
As time went on, the Cosby Show was an experiment, man. That was an experiment.
Yeah, you're right.
People, I remember they were like, oh, no show like that could ever exist, but it did. Mm-hmm. I mean, they had shows like Good Times and all that, and you know, when you see those type of shows, you look at it as being a minority. You look at it as like, damn, this is as far as I can aspire to be. Is living out in the projects and living like this. Is it more to life than just this particular genre?
Yeah.
And I think by having these type of conversations about race and also equity, which is being thrown around a lot.
Correct.
The playing fields can be even. It can be a lot more even. America, I mean, some people feel as though by exposing this, a lot of these issues in American history that we devalue what America really is. I'm like, nah, we don't. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, it makes you more knowledgeable. So when you do come across a situation that might be different compared to where you came from, you know how to adjust and know how to receive it better. I think I commend them over in California for implementing that, because it needs to be implemented, man, because right now we're in a state this country is in a state of, I'm not going to say chaos, because it's not really chaos. We're in a state of it's just like finding old skeletons that been in a closet, but now we're taking them out the closet. Now we're addressing these issues. Yeah. And some people, they rather the skeletons stay in the damn closet. They don't want the skeletons coming out, man.
Agreed.
But unfortunately, they're coming out in droves.
Yes, indeed. And GPS, let me just mention to you what's inside this nook and cranny of the bill. It says here, the course must meet the following criteria. Be appropriate for use with pupils of all races, religions, nationalities, genders, sexual orientations, and diverse ethnic and cultural backgrounds, pupils with disabilities, and English learners. not reflect or promote directly or indirectly any bias, bigotry, or discrimination against any person or group of persons on the bias or on the basis of any category protected by Section 220, which we won't get into as far as that bill. And then the other part is not teach or promote religious doctrine. And let me also show you this for what Cortez was mentioning about the books that we had. Hold on one second. Back in the day, if you remember, back in Temple days, of course, we had certain types of studies, and this is one of the books that they gave us here.
I can't see the other
parts.
Critical White Studies.
Oh,
I remember that one.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't an intellectual heritage. Was it part of it?
Yes, it was.
That's exactly where I'm going.
Yes, it was. This was one of the books that they gave us. Critical White Studies. Look how far we've gone. Look how far we've gone. But please, GPS, please share.
Back in our Temple days, when it was called Intellectual Heritage, IH
51 and 52.
One of the most dreaded courses in all of Temple history. If you're just ever approaching a university from a Philadelphia school, oh my God, they want me to write a 2-page paper, a 3-page paper. Yeah. I haven't been prepared for this. 500 words, 1,000 words. What? Oh my God. Right. So, fine. Let's fast forward. The fact that you have to go into, now it's white, now it's black. Is it Latino? Is it Asian? This, that, and the third. All that legal jargon that you just gave us means they sat down and figured out every possible way you could possibly try to take this, that, and the third, or get it under the butt. No. They finally figured it out, and hopefully nobody figures out a way past this. And trust me, there was a round table of black, white, Asian, Latino, whoever else you want to throw in. Men, women, trans men, trans women, intersex, this way, that way.
Transgender, LGBTQ,
okay.
Non-conformist.
Yeah. Everybody, okay, whatever it is, we got you. And they were all at the table, and they said, okay, fine, y'all can present it, but you got to present it this way. And that's how the new studies are going to go. Because now we don't know who anybody is. Yeah. There's really no more male and female, black and white.
Binary also.
Over there, we're all the same. There's always going to be a little bit of a disconnect there, because the generation that we come from is not the generation that is.
Yeah.
And you guys are new. No, I'm gonna say you guys are new. You guys are on some new shit that we could not have possibly thought about when we were 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Just couldn't. You couldn't do it until university 20 years ago.
No. I mean, this book, going back to this book goes back to 97. This book goes back to 97. I mean,
here's my point. Come on. Critical white studies, critical black studies.
Yeah, but here's some of the chapters of how in looking at the contents. Part 1, how whites see themselves. Part 2, how whites see others. Let me go into a different chapter. The color line, multiracial people passing for white. White consciousness, white power, biology, and pseudoscience. So there's a lot in here. I mean, it's interesting how we've evolved from this book in college campuses to now just expanding it. I mean, it's phenomenal. It's long overdue. I mean, I definitely give kudos to the state of California for this, because it is something that is way long overdue. It shouldn't have taken this long to do it, but either way, I say kudos and definitely an applause to them for keeping up and fighting the fight and making sure that this happens, because it's expanding your knowledge, expanding your consciousness of the realities of whatever happening here, and also what has happened in the past. This is a huge moment for California, and I hope that this will expand to pretty much all over the country. We're just going to have to wait and see. But this is the catalyst. This is the spark that's needed to create the firestorm to spread throughout the educational system in this country. Correct, Cortez?
I agree with you, man. Because the more educated you are, the less prone you are to jump the gun and create stereotypes about what people are supposed to be, which they are not.
Yeah.
So I mean, this would definitely take care of a lot of issues in this country, man. Because the box, man, we can't keep living in boxes, man, and that's the problem. We are living it. Everybody has their own little box, man. They don't want nothing to come in that box. They want that box to be just the way it is. It's time to take the box and push the size down and see what everybody else is doing around us instead of us just being departmentalized.
Yeah.
And that's the problem right now. Everybody's too departmentalized, and they don't go out of their box. They stay right in their little circle of friends and family. They don't go out and see how the other side is living, or they don't have empathy.
It's a great first step for California, and let's just hope that it just continues coming across the country and things will start to change for the better.